Knicks fans, what's popping? It's your boy Simeon Russell coming at you with nothing but Knicks. We just seen the Knicks pull out a good victory against the Brooklyn Nets. Not the best, since they gave up an 18-point lead. But it was a good victory nonetheless. So let's get this rocking. Yes, sir. Let's recap the game a little bit. Hopefully we got some people logging on. If not, you'll be able to catch the replay. But we're going to recap the game and talk about what went down in this game. So I'm going to pull up stats from the game tonight. Let's take a look at what we got going on. The Knicks had an 18-point lead. And again, let another team come back. Noah, what's going on, man? There's net neutrality about to make me pay. Watch your live stream. Yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. Hopefully it won't affect us. I'm gonna see what we're gonna do. You know, we are on YouTube, so hopefully, you know, YouTube got a lot of money. So hopefully they got enough money to, pay for that fast type internet. But anyway, looking at the game, man, we shot 48.1% from the field. We let the Nets shoot 44.6% from the field. Wasn't too bad. We shot 50% from three. Nice. Nets shot 28.6% from three. KP better play. Hopefully he plays. Hopefully he'll play when we get to OKC. The Nets out-rebounded us. You know, I'm going to say this, especially when the Nets came back, they outworked us when they came back. That seems to happen to us a lot. You know, we get into these funks where we get outworked. The Nets definitely outworked us when they were making their runs, but they just didn't have enough talent to overtake the game. Lee was huge, 27 points, man. We can't say enough about Lee this year. Lee is definitely doing the things that we need. Yeah, we're going to get to Frankie, man. I'm loving what Frankie's doing right now. We had 23 assists. Good. 11 steals, 4 blocks, 13 turnovers. That's not horrible. That's not bad. Captain, what's up? What's up, brother? What's going on? 13 turnovers is not bad. So we played a decent game for most of the game. Then, of course, we gave up, we gave that lead up when KP went out. And I want to get to our injuries, man. I definitely want to get to our injuries because if we plan to make it to the playoffs, we're going to need guys healthy. And right now, injuries is an Achilles heel of our team right now. Right? Every time something goes right, a Knicks injury suddenly appears. Exactly, Daniel, exactly. You know, we don't have the greatest depth, but, we do have some guys stepping up. But how long will that last? That's my question. How long will it last that guys will be able to keep stepping up? You know, we went through the stretch where guys really weren't stepping up. Hopefully KP isn't out for long. So let's get to that a little bit. Let's get to actually, before we get to that, what do you guys think about the game? What you saw? How you guys feeling about that game? I like the fact that we, came out big, but I don't like the fact that we gave up another lead. We've got to find a way to keep those leads. We don't have, Baker made some, Nick Johnson, and I seen somebody else talk about Baker a little bit. Baker made some big plays, got a big steal in crunch time. We got to give him props for that. Baker played in the fourth, man. He came through in the fourth. His defense. Baker and Frank playing defense. It's pretty nice. Baker and Frank playing defense in the fourth quarter. Guards are having a hard time locking guys down. We do have some other guys that can play defense, but right now, like Damian Dotson, he can play defense. But when he got his chance, he was a little bit shaky. But I like what Ron Baker's doing. Helping to play that defense in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Frank is definitely a floor general. Let's pull up some stats from the night, some individual stats, and see what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and pull this over here. Let's see what we had here. KP had 13 points, but of course he only played 17 minutes tonight. 4 assists. 4 assists for KP. I like that number. Even if he had played the whole game and only had 4 assists, I definitely, if KP can start getting assists, that's big for us. That's real big for us. And I believe it'll happen in the future. And that's Cantor, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Courtney Lee, again, like we said earlier, came up big, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Courtney Lee he's unbelievable, dude. Just him being a solid player. He's not afraid of anything. We just gotta love what Courtney Lee is doing. Gotta love the grit, Nick Johnson. Gotta love the grit and grind of O'Quinn, Lee, Baker, and Thomas. You gotta love that. Those are the type of things. Excuse me. Those are the type of things that we've been missing, that we've been asking for years, and now we are, we're seeing it, and a lot of it is due to Hornacek. Got to give it to him. Hornacek, he holds guys accountable, and when you hold guys accountable, they're gonna come out and play. So I give him props for that. Yeah, Rudy Duncan. KP went out with a sore left knee. So we don't really have too much information right now. We just know it's a sore left knee. Lee needs to retire Nick. Hey, it could happen. He seems to like New York. We definitely like him. So that could happen. Let's see what else we had here. Jarrett Jack, 8 points, 3 assists. Doug McDermott, 9 points. What else did Dougie have? No assists, 1 rebound. Frank, 7 points, 8 assists, 27 minutes. And like we said, man, if Frank gets the minutes, Frank is going to do it. All right? And now he's starting to get those minutes, and he's producing, like we said. He's definitely producing. Looking at what some people are saying here, Courtney Lee is in superstar mode. Yeah, I don't know if he's a superstar, but he's coming through like a superstar for us. He's a superstar in his role. Let's put it like that. That's something that a lot of coaches that I had in the past said to me. Be a superstar in your role, right? He said that to a lot of players, to me, whoever you were. Whatever your role is, be a superstar in that. Be a star in your role. And Lee is definitely doing that. Lee's definitely doing that. Beasley came through for us. 15 points. 7 for 16 from the field. 4 rebounds. Had 3 turnovers, but that's okay. We can't say enough about Beasley either. Beasley is definitely coming through in times when KP is out. Hopefully KP is not going to be out for a while. But if so, we know we got a guy that can come in and fill up the stat sheet, or at least fill up the scoring sheet. Can't do the same things that KP does, but he can come in and get some buckets for us. But let's hope that KP is back. Ron Baker, 18 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds. And a lot of his minutes, he played some really, really, really good minutes for us in the fourth quarter. So give it up. We got to give it up for Ron Baker like we have been. Knicks are playing really well, organized offense. Yep, he definitely is. Lee is a 6th man in the future for us. That could definitely be, because eventually we're going to get, who said that? Daniel Watkins. Eventually we're going to get a 3-man. He'll probably start. And, Courtney Lee, Tim Hardaway, he'll be the starting 2. So Courtney Lee will come off the bench. And the thing about Courtney Lee is he's not going to complain about coming off the bench, right? Courtney Lee is going to, he's been a starter. He's been a guy that comes off the bench. You don't have to worry about that with Courtney Lee. You know he's going to play his role. But if the coach says, hey, we need you to come off the bench, he's going to do it, and he's going to give you the same kind of effort. So, you know, he's a guy. He's definitely a guy you want to have around because you know he's gonna do what you need, and he's gonna do it to the best of his ability. So we gotta love. You know, I definitely love having Courtney Lee. Yeah. So that's kind of the tale of the tape, man. The Nets. You know, just to say a little bit about the Nets. Of course, D'Angelo Russell, Tony Crow, yo Black, it's time, brother. What's going on? Of course, the Nets, D'Angelo Russell and Jahlil Okafor weren't playing. I'm not a Nets fan, but you know, I'm still interested to see what they look like when they play. You know, them guys, you know, they did some nice things this offseason, and then of course the trade for Jahlil Okafor that you know, it gives them a nice young nucleus to start to build around. So. Crazy Beats. Frank and Lonzo is the most fundamental rookies in this draft. They understand the game at a high level. I totally agree with you. I like the way that they play, and I think that they are, when we look at Frank and Lonzo play, they are the what I think they are the prototype point guards for the future. That's what I think. I think that we're going to start seeing the league go towards guys who are versatile, can move the ball, because the Warriors play that kind of game, and it's a copycat league, right? And so I think that you're going to see that type of play, teams looking for point guards that play that type of game. Yeah. Ryan McFarland said, trade Lee for a pick and tank. No, man. No way. There's no tanking. No tanking. We can't tank. You know, plus you trade Lee for a pick, you're probably not going to get a first-round pick for Courtney Lee, even though he's playing really well. You're probably not going to get a first-round pick for him. He's 32 years old. You know, teams aren't going to give up a first-round pick for a 32-year-old player that's not a superstar. You know, and he plays a great role for us. Even when we become a really, really good team, we need players like Lee on the team. So I'm not in support of trading Lee if we're going to trade Lee, we've got to get something really, really, really good, in my opinion. Yes, Lee is a guy you want on the team. You got to get something really good, in my opinion. You know, if you're not getting something really, really good, then you know, there's no sense in trading him because you're giving up too much value. Now, I seen someone say a road win is a road win. You know what? We needed this road win. We definitely needed this. We had been struggling on the road. We're finally now, 2-6 on the road? We need to pick up a couple of more of these wins. But, you know, I am very, very gracious that we got this win. I don't care if it was just in Brooklyn. So let's talk a little bit about Knicks injuries. All right, let's talk about these injuries a little bit. I don't know what to say. Like we said earlier, every time we start to get something going, an injury happens. Right now, you know, for those who may not know, I think most of you do. For those who may not know, KP went out in the beginning of the third quarter with a sore knee, and of course he didn't play. He didn't come back the rest of the game. I'm hoping that his knee isn't. I'm hoping it's not serious. I haven't heard or read anything yet, but I'm definitely hoping it's not serious because we're going to need KP out there. You see the way the game changed when KP wasn't on the floor, right? The game definitely changed. So we've got to, you know, we just got to hope it's not too serious, that a little bit of rest, a little bit of treatment will get him back on the floor for the OKC game because I definitely want him out there. Just kicking it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get it as best as possible. I've went through some audio things, but you know, I'm working it out, and I got some more things in line that I want to get there. So hopefully, we'll be, you know, I'll be able to, you know, keep keep growing and keep making it better. Yeah, sincere to genius. I hope KP is okay as well. You know, we need him. We need him. You know, it just hurts our bench when he's not there, because then Michael Beasley has to come in and start for him, and then we don't have someone like Beasley coming off the bench to give us that boost. You know, so we definitely need KP, and then hopefully, you know, it's just something small. But you know, with the Knicks, you never know. Like, look at Tim Hardaway. You know, he has a stress injury, and it still seems kind of let KP rest and play Noah. You know, that may be something that we need to do if he needs to sit out. We may need to activate Noah and let Noah get some burn. But like Tim Hardaway, you know, it was a stress injury. Now, from the reports that I've seen today, and I'm going to see if I can pull this report up. From the reports that I've seen today, he's not going to be back soon. He said, I think he said the words, "It's serious." I read this on SNY TV. So I'm going to try to bring this up. But it's looking to me like Tim Hardaway is going to be out for a little bit. He said he's not coming back until it's 100%. He did say that if we were in the playoffs, that he'd be able to make it back, or he would be playing. But as it is right now, he's not here. Okay, so we do a little bit of something about KP. I'm gonna slide this over so you guys can see it. KP, Porzingis update. His knee buckled, removed for precautionary reasons. Okay, so we know that. We know that he was removed for precautionary reasons. I didn't know that his knee buckled. So, yeah, I didn't know that his knee buckled. You know, a buckling knee can be serious. I'm gonna tell you what, my knee. You know, I play a lot of basketball. For those who know, my knee buckled the other day. I went to the bed, but now I'm 41 years old, so there's a little bit of difference there. But my knee buckled, and there wasn't a lot of pain, but it felt kind of funny. And now I'm starting to wear a knee brace. You know, a knee buckling, that's not, you know, it's nothing to sneeze at right there. Do I see? I'm gonna get to that question about Doug McDermott. A Medina. I want to see if I can find this article on Hardaway, because I want you guys to read. Here we go. I think this might be it. No timetable for Hardaway's return. And he says, so here we go here. You see it right here. He says, "This is serious," Hardaway Jr. says. I guess he said it to Mark Berman at the Post. "The goal is just to get better first. That's the goal. I'm not giving myself no deadline. I don't want to get to that point and be upset and be down on myself. I don't want to give myself a set date on when I should return. I'll do what I can to get this right. When I'm confident and ready to go, then we'll see." To me, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good to me. So now you got KP's knee buckled. You got Hardaway, who there's no timetable for his return. And they're still calling it a stress injury, which I don't know exactly what that means. Right? I don't know what a stress injury means. You know, what is a stress injury? So, you know, the Knicks aren't really telling us. It doesn't seem like they're telling us everything. They're just telling us that he has a stress injury. And I'm not exactly sure what that is. So, for the time being, we are. It seems like we have a plan to fill in for Tim Hardaway, right? I don't know if our season is over, because if KP is out for an extended period of time, then we're gonna have a rough time. KP and Hardaway out, your two leading scorers, we're gonna have a rough time. But with Hardaway right now, we are filling in for him. Not to say that we don't miss him, but we're doing a decent job filling in for him. Every night there's somebody stepping up and scoring 20, 21, 22, 27 points for Courtney Lee tonight. I would like to get the full story on what's going on with Hardaway. I don't know what a stress injury is, but we might be looking forward to moving on without him for a little while. Serious for Tim, Nate Solomon. This here is really a picture of Tim Hardaway. You see KP in the bottom, but that's a picture of Tim Hardaway. So I just want to be clear. This is serious for Tim Hardaway Jr., not KP. We don't know about KP yet. But Tim Hardaway Jr. says this is serious. So we're looking for, he's going to be out for a little while, I think. I think he's going to be out for a little while. All right. So let's we are going to move this back, and let's talk about we're talking about Knicks injuries right now, but hopefully we're going to be able to get over it. I'm anxious to hear about KP, and I just might, if we hear something about KP tomorrow, I just might jump on for a few minutes just to talk about it. Because I want to see this team get into the playoffs, and I want to, and we need KP to do it. Lee is picking up. Yeah, Lee is picking up the slack for Hardaway. He definitely is, and it's not just Lee. Other guys are coming in and stepping in. You see Frank playing that 2 spot sometimes as well. Sometimes Frank is playing the 2. You see it. You see Jack coming in and Frank going to the 2, or sometimes he's in there with Courtney Lee, and they're kind of switching on and off between the 2 and the 3. That's the great thing about Frank. And that's the one thing in the argument between having Frank and Dennis Smith Jr. is that Frank can play these multiple positions. You know what I'm saying? And Dennis Smith Jr., even Dennis Mitchell, all they're doing, they're playing point guard, right? They're playing point guard, maybe some shooting guard. But for the most part, they're running the point. Frank can go from the 1 to the 2 to the 3. He can guard the 1, the 2, and the 3. And that's the great thing about having Frank Ntilikina and his length. So he's going to continue to play in that 2 spot a little bit while Tim Hardaway is out. But it's good for him because we see him becoming more aggressive looking to score. All right, so let's talk about Frankie a little bit. Frankie Clutch. That's my man. I see a lot of people talking about Frank. Let's talk about him. What can we say, man? This guy knows how to bring it in the fourth quarter. Marty Knicks, I'm with you. Scoring point guards are not my cup of tea. I'm with you, Marty. I like guys that get the ball around and score when they need to, score when they have to. And that's what I'm getting from Frank right now. Frankie Clutch, right? That's what I'm getting from him. He's passive throughout the game, right? He gets the ball to who he needs to get the ball to, gets the ball around. But in the fourth quarter, he says, okay, this is my time. That's what it seems like he says to me, because now he begins to take shots, and he's taking them fearlessly. I think all of his points came in the fourth quarter today, right? Tonight? He had 7 points in the fourth quarter, I believe. I think he had a layup at the basket. He had a little pull up from the free throw line, and he hit a 3. So I really, Tony Crow, you said a stress reaction is a precursor to a stress fracture. Okay. Yeah. And so then I wonder, is it closer to a stress fracture or just a stress reaction? You know what I mean? I see him walking around in that boot. I see him jumping up, hobbling over to try to congratulate everyone. I'm like, guy, you got to sit down, bro. Just rest your stuff. You can celebrate by putting a hand in the air. You know, but back to Frank. I love what he's doing in the fourth quarter, and it seems like he has a clutch gene. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to do it in the clutch, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know, and I hope that Hornets set continues to play him in the fourth quarter, because he's giving us so much in the fourth quarter, from his defense, his length, his ability to play multiple positions, and then he's scoring. You know, he's scoring. So basically, Timmy's bone is weak and fragile, but not cracked or broken. Okay. So then he needs a little bit of time it's going to be a little bit of time for that bone to get strong enough for him to play on. Justin Remedy, been saying it, Sim. He's gonna be out. A stress fracture is one move away from a complete break. Yeah. My son had a stress fracture a while ago, a long time ago, when he was playing on my AAU basketball team, and he was out for a while with it. He was walking around in a boot. He didn't even know he had it. He had, I guess it happened. He was playing, and then he just felt some pain, and he continued to play on it. Then he felt a little bit more pain, and so we went to the doctor, and they said, "Hey, he has a stress fracture," and it was just a small crack in his foot. And, he was out for a while. Yeah. But it sounds like what Timmy has is just before it becomes stress reaction is closer to a fracture. Yeah, so it's just before it becomes a fracture. So basically, if he would have kept playing on it, if he didn't say anything and would have kept playing on it, eventually it would have turned into a fracture. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good thing that he's sitting out and he can heal up. Yeah, we're going to need him in January, and hopefully he can get there in January. Because as we looked at in the last time, January is going to be a brutal, brutal month for us. We're definitely going to need all of our missiles ready to fire. All of our missiles ready to go. And we're going to so I'm glad Frank is getting, he's getting this experience playing in the clutch. If Frank can continue to do what he's doing, maybe we can grab some of these road wins, because we play some tough teams on the road in January. Hopefully we can pull some stuff out. Read my comment higher up. I broke down what it is. I'll go back and I'll check that out. Michael, I'll go back and check that out, unless you want to put it in again. I'm not sure if on this screen that I have here I can scroll back. No, I can't scroll back on this screen. I have to go over to the YouTube screen to scroll back. And I don't even have the YouTube screen up right now. We're going to have 4 home games. Yeah, 4 home games the whole month. So, we need to be road warriors. We're going to have to turn into road warriors somehow. And, we're gonna need the guys to step in. I seen somebody ask again about Frank starting. I think maybe what we should do, what Hornacek should do, is, I think it was New Money Street. I think we should let it continue to go how it's going. Let Frank continue to get this crunch time experience, and then maybe reevaluate it. A little bit down the line, look at it and reevaluate it. Jared Jack hasn't done anything to lose his spot. And if Frank is getting 26 to 30 minutes a game, I'm not sure how much it matters, besides the fact that we would want to see him starting the game off with the starters and see what he looks like there. Right, but throughout the game, you can throw him in there with the starters and see what he does. But right now, I think I would keep it the way that it is. As long as he's getting these 26 to 30 minutes a game, I think I would keep it the way that it is, and then reevaluate a little bit later. Or if something just goes horribly wrong, then reevaluate it. New Money Street, what do you think Frank career high in points will be at the end of this season? I think one of these nights he's going to get hot. I think we could see him score 20 points one of these nights. I think he'll get hot one of these games. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. When he's in a game, it's not like he's just floating on the wing and doesn't have the ball in his hands. He doesn't get a lot of field goal attempts because he's a passer and he's looking to get his teammates involved. So, but he has the ball in his hands a lot. So they use him. He has a good usage rate, and I think one of these nights he's just going to be hot. And now that he's playing off the ball a little bit more, Tim Hardaway is going to be out a little bit. He's playing off the ball a little more. I think you're going to see him get some open looks. And now that he's beginning to score, guys are going to look to him a little bit more as well. Earlier in the season, one thing I did notice earlier is that guys weren't looking because they knew that he probably wasn't going to shoot the ball. Guys weren't really looking for him in spots where he could score. Sometimes he would be open out there on the 3-point line, and they might look him off or look for another option because they didn't think he was going to shoot it. Now that he's beginning to shoot the ball a little bit, I think that they're going to look for him a little bit more, and he'll get some more shots. Yeah, as long as Frank is in the fourth, I'm cool. I'm cool with it too, Tony. I'm not too worried about. I tell my players all the time because players always worry about if they're going to start or not, and I always tell them it really doesn't matter who starts the game. What matters is who finishes the game. And I know you guys hear it all the time. The people who finish the game, that's the people that you trust to to win the game for you. As a matter of fact, I've had plenty of times when I've started some of my worst players. Now, of course, this is AAU; it's a little bit different. But I've started some of my worst players because in the beginning of the game, that first 5 minutes, you're kind of feeling each other out a little bit. So there's been times where I started my worst players and then came in with my better players. I did that times when I didn't really have a bench. So yeah, to me it doesn't matter if he's starting or not. If he's in the fourth and he can bring it in the fourth quarter, I'm with it. With the way, it's smooth. With the way the guards are playing, maybe they should run a little more 2-point guard lineups. Yeah, Sincerely Genius. I like running 2-point guard lineups. I think especially nowadays when you have point guards that can score the ball. Back in the day, a point guard was a point guard was basically a passer. Excuse me. But now today, guys get the ball up and they score, right? So now you got guys they're looking to create, but they can also score. And to have two creators on the floor, I think is deadly. I really do. I really think having two creators on the floor gives other teams fits, especially when you got a point guard the size of Frank. So, he's looking to create for others, and he's also looking to score when he has the opportunity. I think it's dangerous. Frank is a playoff guy. Gary Jackson says Frank is a playoff guy. He's going to get better in the playoffs than he is in the season. I agree with you. I definitely agree with that, Frank, Gary. And he's been in those kind of situations where not many rookies have. You got some guys like some guys that's been to the NCAA championship or went deep in the NCAA tournament, so they have some experience. But he's been to the highest level of his league, and that's a pretty high level because that's a pretty high level league, and he knows what to do and he knows how to get it done. He has some experience. I'm not saying that he's going to, he's already a great playoff guy, but I think he will do well in the playoffs. Frank should work with MJ in the offseason, focus on his post game and on his mid-range jumper. So in MJ, you mean Michael Jordan? Just kicking it, just nicking it. Nice name. Do you mean Michael Jordan? by the Knicks. I thought it would be Frank and Dotson, but it looks it will be Frank and Baker. Yeah, Frank and Baker played great defense together. And I seen a couple other people mention it earlier. They played great defense in the fourth quarter, and that is, that's important because we've been missing it for years. Okay, but he's got the mid-range game down. I feel it's more on his finishing while driving. Yes, Kid Biv, or however you pronounce it, he needs to finish while driving. A lot of times, I don't know. I think when he's driving to the basket, he needs to just get a little bit more aggressive, and go in there looking to dunk that thing. You know what I'm saying? He's going in and he's looking to lay it up. I think he needs to go in and look to put one down. And I think if he does that, he'll get fouled and go to the basket a little bit more, and he'll probably catch a couple of dunks. But sometimes he goes in a little bit too soft looking to lay it up, and he misses those. So, he needs to start scoring in the paint a little bit better. But he will. I think he'll do it. He works a lot. He's a guy that has a good work ethic, so I think he'll definitely work on that in the off season. Rudy97, do you think Baker gets too much hate? I don't know if he gets. Well, here's the thing with Baker, because I threw a little bit of shade his way too. He got relatively a big contract in the offseason. No, it wasn't $20 million a year. But for a second-round pick that hadn't really proven too much, he was able. He must have a great agent, because he was able to pull down an $8 million contract, $4 million a year, over 2 years. And for a guy that really hadn't done much, you're kind of wondering, like, why? If he can continue to give us the production he's given us the last few games, then maybe it's worth it. Maybe he'll be worth it. But that's one of the reasons I think he gets the hate, because of his contract. And it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Any of us or anyone, if the team is going to give you that contract, regardless if you earned it or not, you're going to take it. You're not going to sit there and say, well, no, coach, or no, Steve Mills, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I earned this contract. Just give me $1 million. No, you're going to take the money while you can. So, but that's why he might get a little bit of, exactly. I gave him a B for Baker. You know what I'm saying? But Baker been baking a little bit. So he been baking a little bit the past few games. So I got to give it up to him. Ralph says, the Frank Baker backcourt is some of the best defense we've seen in years from our Knicks teams. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. Yep. Some of the best defense we've been seeing for a while. And I love it. Only 2 years, and I kind of get if it works out, it's a steal. If it doesn't, second year will come off the books. Yeah, and there's some, I was talking with somebody about it the other day, and there's some kind of funky little thing with his contract that almost acts as a no trade clause as well for Ron Baker. But like I said, it's 2 years, so you got this year and you got next year. And with the way that we're playing now, his contract would definitely have looked a lot worse if we were playing bad. But, we're playing good, so, and he's starting to play better as well. But, for a minute, he couldn't even grab a seat on the bench, right, because he wasn't even active. But he's coming in. Brandon, yeah, Ron the Cake Maker Baker. There we go. We have to learn to lock up that perimeter. Yeah, James, I agree with you. We got to learn to lock up the perimeter. Our defense is getting better, and Baker's part of it. Ntilikina is part of it, and you see it with the more minutes that those guys are playing. Our defense is getting better, right? The more minutes that that Ntilikina is playing, our defense is looking a lot better, and I'm just really glad that Frank is playing the way that he's playing. And I think some of it has to do with, an article came out maybe a week or so ago where they talked about, Hornacek kind of talked about Frank and his decision making, and that he wasn't sure whether to go to the basket sometimes or pass it, or he was kind of indecisive. And I get the feeling that Hornacek just kind of said, go ahead and play your game. Whatever happens, happen. Just play ball. And he's loosened up since then. Yeah, we defended the three ball pretty well tonight. I still see times when guys are getting open threes, though. And, that bothers me. Brooklyn only shot, I think it said 28% tonight from the three. But, we still got to do some work on defending that three-point line. Peace, King Armani. I love that. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. You saying Frank was hurt? Tony, you saying Frank was hurt early? And that, you know what? That could have been part of his play as well, because he did get hurt early. And he missed a couple of games in the beginning. No more air balls. Yeah, because he was nervous early, man. Who wouldn't be? 19 years old, second youngest player in the NBA, playing for the New York Knicks. Who wouldn't be a little bit nervous early? Cole, I think we have close games. Well, with this team particularly, I think we have close games because, we play with a lot of youth. Now, Coach Russell, well, that's my players. Some of my players call me Coach Russell. Coach Russell anytime. But back to Cole. We're young, and we still got to learn how to close these games out. We're playing on the floor. Look at in the clutch tonight. You got Frank, he's a rookie. Baker is in his second year. Who else was out there? You got Courtney Lee was out there. Kylo Quinn, he's been in the league for a little while. But usually KP is out there. His first time being the leader of a team. When Tim Hardaway is out there, it's his first time being one of the main cogs of a team. So we've got to learn how to do it. And sometimes, and you're gonna lose some in order to learn how to do it. Eventually you'll get tired of giving up these big leads. I think that we fall asleep at the wheel a little bit when we get these big leads, and we don't value every possession the same way that we do when the game is tight. And that's the hallmarks of a young team, because naturally, you get a big lead, your body naturally relaxes, and there's almost nothing you can do about that. Your body naturally relaxes. Now it's up to you up here to say, I can't relax. I got to force and push my body to play and value each possession. And I think as a team, we don't always value every possession when we get a big lead. And we've got to learn how to do it. Frank is hitting those ice cold. Frank's got ice water in his veins in the fourth, man. Like I said, he has 7 points tonight in the fourth quarter. That and I like that out of the point guard. You use the rest of the game to get everyone else involved, and then when it's time, you get yours. We have 3 real good backup small forwards, but no real starter. Timmy's natural position is at the 2. Correct. We have Dougie Fresh. We have Beasley, Easy Beasley, and who else? I guess you could put Dots in there, but no real starter, and that's going to be exactly what we need. And we also don't have. I'm just noticing it from the Laker game the other night and the tonight's game with Brooklyn. While we have good players and we have a lot of talented players, we don't have the same kind of athletes some of these other teams have, which is part of the reason, guys, you see guys jumping over top of us and things, we don't have the same kind of athletes. And that's why I think we need a 3-man that's an athlete. We need a 3-man that can play defense, can shoot the 3, is long, and is an athlete. Because we're missing that athletic part. I mean, how many oops have we had this season? I don't know. We can probably count them on one hand. And I'm not saying that that's the end all be all to get an alley oop. I'm just just using that as a way to show that we don't have the same kind of athletes that some of these other young teams have. And I think we need to try to pick some up. We need a couple of athletes, long athletes that get after it. Michael Beasley is a blessing in disguise. I agree, Brandon. He's definitely a blessing in disguise. Miles Bridges fits that mold perfectly. Yeah, a young Trevor Ariza kind of guy. Kelly Oubre type of guy. Yep. Now, that's definitely true, Sincere. We don't want to mess up the chemistry. So we want to be selective. We're in a position now where, although we're not a top team, we're rebuilding, and we can really be selective in the kind of guys that we bring in. I like to look at San Antonio, man. San Antonio is like, they're the prototype, and they don't just bring in anyone. They look at a guy's mentality. They look at the way the guy, his feel for the basketball game. And do they play defense? What their character is like, and then they bring him in, and then they bring him into a positive and a strong culture, right? And so guys automatically fall into that culture, and so their chemistry is always there, right? Because they're not just bringing in any kind of guy; they're actually picking guys that fit their culture, that fit what they want to do as a basketball team, and I think that's what we can start to do that right now. No, we're not a top team in the East or the West, or in the league, I mean. But because we're building and we're starting from the bottom, we can pick and choose and say we want guys with this kind of mentality, with this kind of character. If you look at our team now, we have good character guys on the team. So I think we've started doing that. And, so we definitely don't want someone who's going to come in and mess with the chemistry. So, we have a chance when we're looking at guys, we can really look at the way that, guys play, their mindset, and those type of things, and are they going to fit into our culture? And I think that's the way that we need to go. We need to steal some of the Spurs development guys. Yeah, man. The thing is, this is the thing, Mighty Knicks. When you have a business or a front office or a company like the Spurs, people don't really want to leave. Of course, guys are going to leave for bigger opportunities. But if they're not looking for a bigger opportunity, they're like, why am I going to leave here? Because usually a place of business like the Spurs, it flows over into everything that they do. So they are a good basketball team with a good culture, but that culture didn't just start with the basketball team. That culture started with the front office, the management, right? That's where the culture started. And then it boils over into the basketball team. And so when you have, staff and coaches and things, when you have a good culture where you work, you want to stay there because you don't know what's out there and what you're going to next. Especially, if you're getting paid well and you're winning and you're having success, why leave unless you're looking for something bigger and you're looking to grow? But if you're not, you'll probably stay where you are. So it's probably going to be hard to steal some people from the Spurs. Yeah, Jeremy Grant would be a perfect fit at the 3 spot. You might. I haven't seen him much. We're gonna get to see him. We're gonna get to see him on this Sunday, and he might be the perfect spot. Who do you D Hove, he said, who do I think stepped up on defense? Of course, like we've been saying, Ntilikina and Baker. But I think everyone is really putting the effort in to play defense. Arishi Kumo, no love for McDermott to start at small forward. I like Dougie Fresh, right? I really do. I like what Dougie Fresh does, but I think that, and he is athletic. I'll give him that. He's athletic, but I don't feel like he's like. I think we need a guy that's got a little bit of nastiness to him. That's just my opinion, and the type of guy I think we need. A guy that can really, really get down and dirty on defense. A guy that's really going to get in there and scrap it up, but it's also athletic, can shoot the ball, and maybe I'm asking for a lot. You know what I mean? I might be asking for a lot, but I think we need that kind of guy. Maybe McDermott can develop to be that kind of guy. He's made a lot of strides this year. We got to give it to him. You know, I don't see that full-on nastiness yet. I've seen a little bit, though. I got to give it to him. And he possibly could be a starting three-man. I think he will be. At some point, he'll be a starting three-man in this league, though. Yeah, that's it, Ryan. Rebounding and grit. And that's what I'm looking for from a three-man. Someone who really brings that grit, toughness, and just a little bit of nastiness. That's something that our team is missing as a whole, is just a little bit of nastiness to them. You know, we don't have that nastiness. You know, and if we can get a couple of guys that bring that nastiness to us, man, we can be something. Yeah, Dougie Fresh, man, he cuts. He really does. He moves so well off the ball. And what makes it even better is that we have guys who are looking for him. We have Kyle O'Quinn and Ed Cantor. They look for him off that high post. You know, them guys get the ball off the high post. You see Dougie Fresh cutting from the corner. Boom, they get it to him. Layup, dunk. So that's really nice. Yeah, O'Quinn and Dougie Fresh, they have a nice rapport. Have a real nice rapport. Who is the Knicks' best defender? Right now, you know, it might be Frank right now. He might be the best if you're talking all around between, you know, the bigs and the guards. It might be Frank. You know, yeah, James, that '90s Knicks style of nastiness. Yep. I mean, you know, at some point, I think what's going to happen is maybe injuries or whatever. Dougie will get a chance. But see, Lance Thomas, he brings some of that grit, and that's the reason why he starts now. You know, because he brings some of that grit. But you know, Dougie does good, man. But think about it. You know, I think what's this? His third year in the league. He'll get his time to start. He'll start. How old am I? Dragon, you asked how old am I? I'm 41 years old, bro. 41. Been doing this basketball thing for a while, and I love it. Love basketball, man. Yeah, but that's the thing about Lance, right? I mean, yeah. He said Lance. Marty says Lance killed us in the Bulls game. He's always fouling. But you know what? When you play defense, man, you're gonna foul. When you play good defense, you're gonna foul. That's just how it is. What I really look for, what I really want from Lance is his offense to step up and pick up a little bit. He can shoot the ball. He misses, but he can shoot. And if we can get him to, give us 12 to 13 points a game, I mean, he'll be real solid for us. So I look 21. Well, shoot, I'll take that, bro. I'll take that. Hopefully, I stay looking for 21 for a while. You know what I mean? Hey, I'll tell you this: when I'm on that court, I don't feel 21. I definitely feel 41 when I'm on the court. But I take it though. Yeah. We need him. Me, Justin, I played point guard. I played point guard. Yeah, I've been playing point guard, high school, a little bit in college, and then now I just play in leagues, different men's leagues all around in Maryland. Yeah. I had a game tonight, as a matter of fact, and we we were down. I had a game tonight, man. We were up two. One of my players, two of my players at the same time get a tech because they're upset that that they didn't get a foul call, right? So the league that we play in, they play high school rules. 20 minutes a half, play high school rules, and so they get 2 shots in the ball back. Well, they actually got 4 shots in the ball back. We was up 2. After that whole little possession, they were up 3. Right? Halftime, I think we're down 1 point or something like that at halftime. We come back third quarter. I'm feeling like we're going to take the game over. The team goes on a little bit of a run. We call timeout. But one of my players, man, he got a little bit upset because he thought they should have called a foul on him. He gets upset, doesn't get back on defense, starts yelling at the ref. They give him another tech, and boom. We disqualified from the game because you can't get more than 3 techs in the game. I was hot. You know what I'm saying? I hate to lose, man. I hate to lose. I can't, I don't like to lose, and I like to play the game the right way. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm on a team and guys are just running down, boom, 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 and shooting up whatever kind of shots, I get frustrated, I get mad, and I'll call a timeout real quick and start getting in their face and say, hey, man, we gotta play the game the right way if we want to win. We want to be a good basketball team. We got to play the right way. I'm not saying sometimes you're going to take some bad shots, but overall you got to play the right way. Who is my favorite basketball player in NBA history? Patrick Ewing, without a doubt, hands down. What were my stats? I mean, right now, because I play in the league with a bunch of young guys, so I'm kind of the Jared Jack of the team. But when I was playing, I was like a 12-point, 10-assist guy. That's what I did. I was 12-point, 10 assists. I really was a kind of guy that looked to get the ball out to other people, penetrate to the lane, dish it. I did a lot of studying in my day, just looking at tape, watching my teammates, finding out where my guys like the ball, things like that, because I really do like to get the ball out to people. So, yeah. But to answer that other guy's question, my favorite player is Patrick Ewing, hands down. I love Patrick Ewing, man, and he's coaching for Georgetown right now, so I'm going to get to a game. Yeah, 9 more subscribers to get 1,000 subs. There we go. It's coming. It's coming, This Guy Joe. Appreciate it. It's coming. Yeah, solid numbers, man. I did some solid numbers out there. Yeah. So let's talk about this OKC game coming up. What do you guys think about? What do we need to do? And matter of fact, of course, I travel to New York a few times a year. I'm originally from Albany, right? Originally from Albany, a lot of family in the Bronx and in Brooklyn. Spent a lot of time with my family in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Moved to Maryland like 17 years ago. But I travel back frequently from the city to Albany. I plan on going back the beginning of the year, but I want to get together with some of you guys at Clyde's Wine and Dine, and some of you guys that still hoop. Maybe we can get it in somewhere sometime. So we're gonna check for that. All right, we're gonna check for that. But let's talk about this OKC and this New York Knicks OKC game. Let's talk about this. I want to. First of all, talking about the game, what are you guys expecting from Melo? And what's going to happen? Are we gonna fans gonna boo Melo? Is he gonna get cheers? What do you think? I honestly think he's gonna get some cheers. Right? I think we talked about this before a little while back, but I think Melo is in New York. We always seem to respect people when they're gone, right? So I think when he comes back, and this first time back, I think he'll get some cheers. I think we'll give him the respect that he deserves, and then we can move on with this thing. But you think it's going to be a mixed reaction? It might be a mixed reaction. I think we should give him. I think we should look. Melo wasn't a perfect player. Oh, Tony, hold up. Let me finish what I'm saying. I see what you said, Tony Crow. Melo wasn't a perfect player. He wasn't, the player that we hoped. He didn't take us to where we hoped we would, but he gave us some good times, and he gave us. He played hard. Maybe he had some. He had some times when he didn't play defense and some things like that. I think the spotlight was more on him because he didn't have the help around him, right? If he had the help around him, you wouldn't notice a missed rotation from Melo as much. Like in OKC, they got one of the top defenses in the league, so you don't see as much. And Melo's not going to get as much hate out there, but because he was on a team that didn't have a lot of pieces around him, he was going to get it. And you know what? That's what happens when you're the star player. That's what happens. You got to expect that, right? You got to expect that. You're the star player. You're going to get it. But I don't want the Knicks to. I don't want the fans to really boo him. I'd like to see him get some good. I'd like to see him get some cheers, maybe do a video tribute, and then let the game play out. But poor Melo is yet another victim of the Westbrook show. I mean, look, he got some pieces out there. They should be better than they are. You're right, Marty Knicks. He was. At one point, he was neck and neck. I don't know if he was neck and neck with Bron. Maybe early in the career he was. And, I will say, Melo didn't, I don't know if he expanded his game like he needed to, right? He focused on what he did well. He never really tried to say, I can distribute the ball, even though he had that skill set to do it. Maybe that's something that he didn't go and develop. You know what I mean? And of course he's getting older. Now the thing with Melo is Melo's always going to be able to get a bucket. That's just what Melo can do. You know what I'm saying? He can get a bucket. He's always going to be able to get a bucket. There's going to come a point where, he's going to have to step back a little bit, and I think maybe he's doing it in OKC now. We'll see. Melo should concede and come off the bench, depending on who you're playing for, maybe. And, it might be something that they have to do in OKC. I don't know. But, let's get into some matchups. But like I said, you know what? I mean, the time just Melo wasn't the kind of leader that you look for him to be. He wasn't that kind of vocal leader. You're right, Jose. He wasn't a vocal leader. He was kind of like a more of a guy that lead by example kind of guy. You know what I mean? But he he led in his own way. But it never happened here. It was the right time for him to go. You know what I'm saying? Because it became toxic. And with him leaving, I think, it's the reason why we're playing now. And I'm not saying that as a bad way about Melo. I'm just saying because it was so toxic. Once that was gone, we could open up and flourish. But let's talk about some matchups. Let me pull this up here. I want to look at their team a little bit and talk about what we need to do. Let's pull this over here. All right. Let's look at some of these matchups out here. Let's look at who we got. Of course, you know you got Melo at small forward, right? So, Melo at small forward, since we were talking about Melo, I guess we'll probably have, hopefully KP will be back. I'm sorry, Melo, not at small forward. Melo's at power forward. Hopefully KP will be back. He'll be probably guarding Melo. You know, I'm sure they went at it a few times in practice. So, you know, KP maybe is a little bit, you know, familiar with Melo. I'm sure he doesn't want to miss this game. I know he wants to play against Melo at home. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if KP can go, I think he's going to go. Dead up, because I don't think he wants to miss this. I wouldn't. So you got Melo at the 4. I don't know why. I only started with Melo at the 4 because we were talking about Melo. Right? So let's go to the 1. You got Westbrook. Jarrett Jack and Westbrook. I mean, what's Jarrett Jack gonna do there? There's not much he can do. He's gonna be at Westbrook's mercy, right? Then you got Roberson. Courtney Lee he'll be matched up with Roberson. And you might want to take and put Courtney Lee on Westbrook. I think that's probably what'll happen. I think they'll probably put Courtney Lee on Westbrook, and then put and let Jarrett Jack guard Andre Roberson. Roberson is what, 6'7". Jarrett Jack is 6'4", but that's okay because Roberson is not going to post you up. Right? I mean, he's not really a good offensive guy. He's not going to post you up. He's not going to do much. So you can probably get away with having Jarrett Jack on Roberson for a while. Then you got Paul George at the 3 spot. You know, so then, you know, Thomas should be able to do okay on Paul George. That should be a good matchup. Then, of course, you got Steven Adams. Steven Adams. I'm concerned about this matchup here, though, because Steven Adams and Cantor, man, the last game, Steven Adams, he knows Cantor. He knows what he's going to do. So that right there, I think, you know, I don't know if we're going to see Cantor. I would like for Cantor to get, you know, just beast out on Steven Adams a little bit. But I know the last time they played, it looked like Steven Adams kind of knew him. And it's a new situation for Cantor a little bit. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. And then yeah, so, you know, that's the starting matchups there. I don't know if I missed anyone. That's going to be the starting matchups. And then you got guys, Felton coming off the bench. You know, you got Jeremiah Grant coming off the bench. And I think that's part of OKC's problem, man. They gave up their bench. You know, I mean, look, they had Cantor on the bench. They had McDermott on the bench. And then their starting shooting guard was Oladipo. You know what I mean? They had a lot of talent over there with Paul George. They had a lot of talent. You know, well, I'm sorry. They traded Oladipo for Paul George, but then still they had Cantor and they had Dougie Fresh, man. They had a lot of talent there. And you see what Oladipo's doing. You see what Cantor is doing. Wow, it's crazy for one team to have that much talent. Steven Adams is like Candace's older brother he could never beat, so it sticks in his mind. Exactly. Kind of like Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning. You know, Ewing, no matter how old he got, he used to give it to Alonzo Mourning. You know, come in, boom, dunk on him and everything. You know, it's kind of like that, you know, with Steven Adams and Cantor. I see some people saying to start Frank Ntilikina on. So if you're starting Frank Ntilikina, which I don't think is going to happen, but if you do start Frank Ntilikina, are you starting him on Westbrook or are you starting him on Roberson? Yeah, and now he'll probably will get more minutes. He's going to see some time on Westbrook. But what do you do? What would you do? Would you start him if you started Frank Ntilikina? Would you start him on Westbrook or would you start him on Roberson? I would probably start out with him on Roberson, let him get into the game, let Lee start out on Westbrook, and then as he gets a little bit more comfortable in the game, then let him get and guard Westbrook a little bit. Right now, looking at their record, the Thunder, they won their last game. They're 13-14, 7-9 in the West. 7-9 in the Western Conference. I don't see what they are in the East, but they are. If you're looking at the standings, OKC they're in the 8th spot in the West. They're in the 8th spot. For a minute, I thought that they were starting to, turn it up a little bit, but they're not really. They still just meddling as a mediocre team. Let's go back to them. So they average 101 points per game, but we know we got 3 guys on that team that can light it up at any time. They can go for 30 or 40 at any time in Melo, Westbrook, and Paul George, right? So we're gonna have to, we're definitely gonna have to man up. I think Thomas should be able to do a good job on Paul George. If you got KP against Melo, Melo might know a little bit about KP and be able to do some things. But for the most part, I think KP should be able to do a good job. And then we got Westbrook. How we're going to deal with Westbrook. That's going to be a hard thing to do, to deal with Westbrook. They're a good defensive team. 99.4 points per game is what they allow opposing offenses, which means they play kind of aggressive. They probably play kind of aggressive. Aggressive teams that play aggressive we don't do well with teams that play aggressive, right? Let's see what their rating is, where they're rated in the league. Let's go to teams. Let's see all stats. All right, let's look at defense. Defensive rating. You see OKC, defensive rating is number 2 in the league. So all these times where we have these little soft cuts to the basket and those type of things, it's not going to work. We got to get with it. Every time we play a good defensive team, man, we struggle. So that definitely concerns me there because, exactly, James Willie. We need to limit those turnovers because they got guys that's going to finish, and we don't want to give them anything that we don't have to give them. We want to make them earn it. Put KP at the 5 during stretches of the game with Frank Lee, Doug, and Thomas. Yeah, I like that because if you put KP at the 5 a little bit, and if he's playing against Steven Adams, Steven Adams isn't going to, he's not going to light it up offensively. So you put him at the 5 and let KP maybe exploit Steven Adams a little bit, maybe get him in foul trouble a little bit. Because Steven Adams makes that team go, man, with his aggressiveness, his rebounding, things like that. Try to get that man in foul trouble. I think that's a good idea. What's their steals per game? Let's see. OKC, they average 9.9 steals per game, number 1 in the league in steals per game. Yeah. So we definitely got to watch those turnovers. We average 16. Let's see what we average in turnovers right now. It's changed a little bit. Right now, turnovers. We average 15.9 turnovers a game. That's 26th in the league. Right, so we're down pretty, we're towards the bottom of the league, right? And then they create a lot of turnovers. They're number 1 in the league in steals at 9.9. So, there's a potential for us to have 20, 22 turnovers this game. And if we do that, we're going to lose. I can guarantee it, because they got guys that's going to finish. Paul George's going to finish. Jeremiah Grant's going to finish. Russell Westbrook's going to finish. We start turning the ball over and let them get out on the break, they're going to score 110, 111 points, and we're going to lose. So we definitely got to protect the ball. He doesn't have, you're right, he doesn't have a lot of strength, but I don't know if Steven Adams has that much of a post-up game. He kind of reminds me of like a Tyson Chandler kind of a guy. I don't know if he's going to be, and I'm not saying, I don't think, we're saying to put KP there the whole game, just some stretches. Try to exploit him a little bit, because eventually, if KP is down there on Steven Adams the whole game, Steven Adams is going to beat him up. Give him a few minutes there and just let KP try to exploit him a little bit, and then go back to your regular lineups. I agree. I see what you're saying, Sincere, and I agree with you. But I think also, letting him go just a couple of minutes at the 5 to try to exploit some things. Yeah. Yep, that's how they beat us last time. And we were playing a decent game last time. Actually, for a while, we were in the game. We were playing a decent game, and then it got away from us. I think we're more comfortable as a team. We know what we're doing a little bit better as a team, so we should be able to play a better game against them. And it's going to be at home. We play well at home, so yeah. And yeah, Beasley might be able. This might be a game that we really need Beasley to step up and score for us. You know what I'm saying? We might really need Beasley to get out there. Yeah. And let me see. What time is this game on Sunday? Let's see where we're at. Right, 9. Let's get back to... see, we play Saturday at 7:30 on NBA TV. Right, Saturday 7:30 NBA TV. I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm still not sure what's going on Saturday. If I'm able, I would like to possibly broadcast live during the game, but I can't promise anything. I guess you guys would know if I log on, then I'm on. So hopefully, but I would like to. I definitely would like to. B's def got to step up. He's every superstar's favorite player. Yeah, right. Definitely. But hey, guys, I am going to go ahead and log off. It's getting pretty late, and I got a meeting tomorrow early in the morning. I got to get to, so I got to prepare for that a little bit. So I want to log off and prepare for that, get some rest. But if I'm not on live during the game, I will definitely be on live after the game, so we could talk a little bit about the Knicks. And what the game is, and start to look forward to the future a little bit. Working on a couple other videos that I want to put out. But I'm gonna look back at the video and look back at the chat. If there's some things that I missed and I might want to talk about, I'll mention it in the comment section. I also want to tell you guys, if you go to my channel. I'd like, there's an area in the channel. I think you can only do it through, if you do it from a computer. But if you go through the channel, I want to look in the comments. There's just overall comments in there. I'd like to start getting, some information, not information, but, getting some conversation in there if we could. So if you can go in there and, just throw something in the comments. Said, you still going to be on after the game? Yeah. Yeah, Tony. If I do it live during the game, then I'm still going to be on after the game. Yep. But I know my wife mentioned something about going out and doing something, so I might not be able to do it live. Gotta make sure I'm spending the time with the wife. You know what I mean? But but if from home, then I'll broadcast during the live, and then I'll still be on after the game, to talk about the game, right? But if I can't do it live during the game with the OKC, one of these games I'll be on live. I'm just trying to find the right time when I know, I don't have a lot of different things going on. I always have a lot of things happening and going on, Oh, I did want to get to one thing. I seen someone ask me, maybe they're off. They asked me what kind of dog that I use. I use Reaper. I really like it too. It's it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's like $60, but it gives you all the functionality of any of your high-end Pro Tools or whatever it is. Any of your high-end dogs. You know what I mean? So if you get a chance, whoever that was that asked me about my dog, look it up. Reaper is pretty good. And you can configure Reaper to look like any of those other dogs that's out there. Whatever you're used to, you can configure it to look like that. That's right, Tony. Exactly. Happy wife, happy life. That's what it is. But listen, guys, I'm going to head out. For anyone who hasn't subscribed, please, once this video is over and this process is up to YouTube, there's going to be a subscribe button right here. So I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button. But I am out, and I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.